button, and we are live.
All right, I am. Yes, it's actually recording. The reason I always say that, folks, is because my screen has basically completely devolved into madness on my recorder. But there's one little section that works that says that shows a bar moving back and forth because it's like I'm too cheap to buy a new recorder. So I'm just going to use this one
Till it dies.
till it dies.
It's
To replace,
a ride or die equipment.
and especially my equipment because some of this stuff's like old. I'm not replacing this.
Yeah, because the thing you want to replace it with is about 10 times more expensive than what
Yeah,
that thing is.
yeah. I don't need it.
So, you're riding this until it dies, and then you can convince yourself, okay, I'll buy this really expensive thing that's going to solve all my problems.
I will talk myself into it because every computer I buy is the last computer. I'm done with it. And like 10 years later, hey, I got a new computer. Kind of regret it, but I don't because it actually works. So
Yeah, I feel like computers, it's almost have like that thing where it's like they artificially throttle themselves down. It's like, why is this computer so slow? It's not just because it's just old and like there's new stuff. Like, no, computer programs get more efficient. Like, this thing should work better.
well, especially your computer. Your computer's starting to look like something out of because it was weird looking from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just kind of had a weird shape, but now it's starting to take on the looks of something like from the what were those art books you sent me? Like Tales from the Loop.
Yeah.
It's like there's just weird wires coming out of it randomly, and the case is kind of open, and it's like, yeah, we're just gonna keep adding things to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to put I had to change out not the heat exchanger, the cooling fan. So it was looking cool before, and now I just have a heat sink cooler in there, but it's a giant heat sink.
Yeah.
But it's way quiet because it used to be a problem on the podcast. That thing was just a jet engine in the background.
Yeah, it's like you're spooling up a turbo. Now it's just a straight up Apple heatsink.
There are fans on the heatsink, but they're so big, and usually the bigger the fan is, the quieter it gets because it can move more air with less, like without spinning so fast.
Yeah.
So, but luckily I had enough room to put that in there because it is a giant tower, but because of it has like this weird dimension to it. There's like sometimes it like pinches at some points and it expands at other points. Because I want to throw a new video card in here, but I actually don't think with the new video cards, I'm not sure if it'll actually fit in there because like video cards are crazy now. It's like we need 2 AGP slots for it. It's like I'm not sure I have that. But also, there's, even though crypto's crashing and all that stuff, video cards are still outrageously expensive. So whatever.
Oh, crap! Yeah, that'll just keep reinventing itself. They'll still be sucking up those video cards and be data mining on that. So.
Well, yeah, it was a cross section of data mining and scalpers.
Yeah.
And the pandemic, just all in one.
Oh yeah.
Because like I think the 3080s are supposed to be selling at $600. It's like, oh hell, that's like buying a video card back in the 90s. Like I can do that, and that card's amazing. But of course, you can't buy it.
Yeah.
Because all the scalpers have bought it, and it's like, and they're selling it for $2,000, and now people have gone long enough where they didn't buy it from the scalpers, and so now they're fucked.
Yep. Now they're selling last year's eggs.
Yeah, Newegg's like, hey, can I return these? Oh, you want to return 50 video cards? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, good luck with that. All your money are belong to us.
Anyways, you're listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast.
Yeah, that's right. You are listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Nathan.
And we have another very special episode. We have the 1993 movie Nemesis, which is an Albert Pune movie who I thought we got in time, but he actually died late last month. So
oh, was hoping he would hear this.
I did see that the Red Letter Media guys put out a thing about some of his movies, and I've seen like there's some of his like he doesn't really make good movies, but there's always something about like, hey, that's entertaining and kind of creative. But he
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily make good movies, but there's always like, hey, that's really good if he could only pull this together.
Yeah, that's not what I would call a dimension of quality. It's what I would call a dimension of, oh, I see what he intended. However, it just bounced like a dead cat. But I could see like, well, he did. I don't think he tried to make a bad movie there. But
No, no, no. There's I don't know. There's probably the main problem wasn't his fault. It was like a capitulation. It was like I think it was called the Shaw Brothers, and the main character, Oliver, is it Gruner or how do you say it? Or is it just Gruner? Because he's like French. So I
Olivier
figured
Gruner.
Gruner.
So in American, it's Oliver Gruner for the English speaking world or the American English speaking world.
So I think the Shaw Brothers were like, "Hey, we found this guy. He's going to be the next Jean-Claude Van Damme," and he was not. And so basically, they're like, "All right, you got to put this guy in the movie. He's your lead." And Albert Pune was like, "Okay, but I can everything. That's the only one. That's the only capitulation I have to make, right?" And he's like, "Yeah," and it ruined the movie. I mean, the story was too convoluted and stupid, but it was never going to work anyways. But that doesn't help. Your main
Yeah.
character's a block of wood.
Yeah. What does he do? Where did he go to Juilliard or whatever? He's a kickboxer. Okay.
He was a French commando apparently, and he turned like stuntman actor.
Okay. He's a cool looking guy. Like he looks the
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a problem with dialogue in this movie in general, but
Yeah.
he didn't really sell it.
But Albert Pune, like I'd want to like I've seen a bunch of his movies and I've always like enjoyed them for what they were, and it's like it was a guy I'd actually like. He's actually a guy I would like wish I had his career, even though nobody respects any of the films he's made. He, goddamn it, he made films, and there was always something in there where it's like, hey, that's really good.
Like 50 films, didn't he? There was a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah, he was like a straight to video guy, so
Okay.
he actually made the first Captain America movie in like 1990.
That's right. The rights retention Captain America movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if that was, I know the Fantastic Four movie was explicitly that. I'm not sure what was up with the Captain America movie.
Okay. Might be confusing those two.
Because also there was a thing where Albert Pune also worked with Canon Films, which is also just a weird 80s like film production company that where it was like it just seemed to be all built on lies and enthusiasm, but
Yeah,
it worked for a moment. And so at some point Albert Pune was going to direct like a Spider-Man movie,
okay.
and or a sequel to the Masters of the Universe movie. And then Canon lost the Marvel rights, and so he made Cyborg.
Okay.
Off of all the stuff he built for the Spider-Man and the Masters of the Universe sequel movie. So they just threw together Cyborg based off that pre-production on those other movies. So I don't know. Cyborg might be one of Albert Pune's biggest movies. You know, it's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I remember it played all the time on like TBS or like WGN. It was just one of those movies.
Oh, we talked about it before, didn't we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is the one where he gets crucified, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The main bad guy doesn't have any dialogue, really. He just kind of growls.
Yeah, and this course is like where he does. It might not be the first, but it's one I remember where he does like the splits in like a narrow hallway and drops down on the guy and kills him.
Okay.
Which is like a very famous thing, but like that might have been the first time it was ever used in a movie.
Yeah, because that's like a martial arts type move.
Yeah. Yeah, I could probably. Yeah, it was probably in a Hong Kong movie before, but I just remember it from that one the most.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a HBO used to do like guilty pleasure movies on like Friday night in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and one of his movies he did called Mean Guns, which I really liked, which it was the concept for it is Ice-T gets 100 assassins and they all have to kill each other in this warehouse, and whoever is the last one standing gets $10 million. Very simple. Stars Christopher Lambert. It's just very simple, fun, stupid movie.
Nope. Not a lot of social commentary in that.
I can't remember there being. I remember I liked it. I remember I probably if I watched it now, it'd probably be like worse than I remember. But
Yeah.
that was one of his later movies that he did that I remember liking. There's a movie he did called Ticker, which I've seen the cover for like on DVDs all over the place. It has like, it's like they got, it has Tom Sizemore, Dennis Hopper, and it's Steven Seagal in it.
Okay.
And it seems to be like they want to do Speed's like, hey, Dennis Hopper was in Speed. We're going to do a Speed like. Never watched the movie. Like, yeah. And let's see, what's other stuff? We've mentioned like The Sword and the Sorcerer was like one of his first movies. I think they spent like $300,000 to make it and made like $90 million at the box office. So that's why he kind of got to keep making movies.
I've seen that one. We did Radioactive Dreams. I think we did that one.
No, we haven't. I've only saw the trailer for that.
Okay, I thought maybe we did that. It seems familiar.
Well, I mean, that's actually probably the best thing about Albert Pune's movies is that they create great trailers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like,
this
oh,
is gonna
yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah, I want to see that movie. And again, this movie Nemesis has a great trailer. It's like, what's going on here? I got to see this movie.
Yeah.
Or the other one, Doll Man. Like, I got to see Doll Man. Does that joke work the whole movie or what? Which Doll Man, if you don't know, is like, it's like some detective from another planet and he gets transported to Earth and he has to solve crimes, but he's only 12 inches tall on Earth. But his gun is basically a rocket launcher. So they have all these forced perspective things where like this tiny guy shoots a gun and they cut to just like people exploding in half.
Yeah. You just slew a giant, sir. Yeah, I've seen that movie. It's weird. It's like a comic book. Like, it's so strange, but it's kind of cool.
And he just did a lot of straight to video stuff, and yeah, he died recently. But so we're just here to kind of celebrate it. Well, we're telling you, he's got fun movies you can watch.
Yeah,
this movie's super weird, and it's streaming all over the place, so you can watch it for free. So sure,
yeah,
go watch Nemesis.
Tubi.
Yeah,
that's where I watched it.
So yeah, director Albert Pune, cinematographer George Moradian, which he basically just worked with Albert Pune almost exclusively on movies he did cinematography for, but he did second unit for like a lot of big stuff.
Okay.
Or stuff like he did like second unit for like John Carpenter a lot of times. Which if you don't know what second unit is, that's pretty much just like, hey, here's this interstitial thing where it's like, we're going to cut to a cityscape in between two scenes. We don't need the director to get a camera up and ready and shoot a cityscape scene. So we're going to send another crew out and a different cinematographer, and they're going to shoot these interstitial stuff. I think the one I remember the most is there's a scene in Seven where it's where the lady gets her face cut off. And just before that scene, there's just like, you just see like kind of like a monolithic dark tower, and then all of a sudden the light turns on, and then they cut to that scene. I was like, oh man, what a cool shot. So David Fincher never shot that exterior. That was second unit. And that was just happenstance that somebody turned on a light. They didn't intend to do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I know what scene you're talking about.
So yeah, a lot of like, if you see like flying shots and cityscapes, like sometimes that's just like stock footage and sometimes that's second unit. I know Michael Bay likes to like shoot a lot of second unit stuff because he likes long sweeping shots, and he's never really concerned about story, so that makes sense.
Yeah, he just loves that camera.
Written by
famous movie, I think, for second unit stuff was JFK.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Because
yeah. You had to have so much stuff for that.
basically, how did Oliver Stone explain it? He's like, he almost said it's like really there were two directors on this movie, because I did all the stuff with the actors, and I forget the guy he named him. I'm not going to look it up now. You can look it up, but it's like I really owe him a lot because almost half of JFK is just second unit.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known that if the director hadn't said, because there's like 50 commentaries to JFK, almost all of them involving Oliver Stone. And it's like, yeah, he'll explain like, yeah, this was second unit, this was second unit. And finally he was saying that so much, he's like, I'm going to stop saying that because I'm going to say half this movie was second unit. And they were great shots, and he named the guy, and he said it really went well with the style of the movie, because that's the one where they were mixing all different kinds of film styles and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, he followed through making that work for this movie. And yeah, so that's the only way I know that from anything.
Written by Rebecca Charles, and this is kind of her only stuff. At least she has written by credits on all the Nemesis movies. There's like 5 of them. I'm not sure she actually wrote them, but she's given credit for them. So
Okay.
And then cast Oliver Gruner, Tim Thomerson, and Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa, who probably I most know him as playing Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
He's all over the place. He's like a character actor. He does a lot of voice work nowadays, so he's still hanging around. And there's some more famous people that we'll get to when we get into the movie, but that's the top credits for this movie.
No.
But they won't be by the end of the movie.
Oh no, it'll change around a lot.
So we got credits running over some weird guy in weird glasses, which this is Oliver Gruner.
This whole movie is weird glasses. I was trying to look up what the glasses are that people wore in this movie, because it was like the whoever was costuming is like they loved everyone. You wear glasses all the time in this movie.
Yeah.
Indoors, outdoors, dark, light, whatever. And I think they were Serengeti glasses, but they were kind of like the outdoor version. Some of them were Ray-Ban outdoorsmen that, I don't know if you ever seen those sunglasses where they used to have like the leather cape on the side.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the bush shooting deer or whatever, or lions, or those guys wore those kind of glasses. And I think these were glasses like that, but they took the leather stuff off. So
okay, that makes sense.
Glasses with a lot of structure around. I love sunglasses. I'm a big sunglasses guy. I have a lot of expensive sunglasses. I don't wear them anymore because I need actual glasses to see, so I don't really get into those much anymore. But I know I've seen a lot of different sunglasses. These were cool.
We get voiceover by Alex, played by Oliver Gruner, and Oliver is like some French commando turned stuntman actor. And I kind of almost love the goal of the voiceover is like, okay, English is your second language. You know what we should probably not do? Not have him talk a whole lot. You know what we're going to do? We're going to anticipate if he can read the dialogue without seeing his lips, he's going to pull together a personality, and he absolutely does not.
And the dialogue that he's trying to read, even, because it kind of hurts him that English is his second language, because if English was his first language, he would know a lot of this dialogue sucks.
Yeah.
A lot of it's bad.
But I did pick out some fun just catchphrases, because a lot of this movie is just borrowing from everything, really. But, you got some
this is if Blade Runner and Terminator,
RoboCop and
RoboCop had some kind of horrid, illegitimate incest child, it would be this movie.
Well, and cyberpunk stuff, and like, who's the guy that's most known with cyberpunk stuff?
William Gibson.
Yeah, all William Gibson stuff here too.
Yeah,
not explored, just kind of all surface.
It's all skin deep here. It's all right there. It's tattooed on their forehead.
But he's talking about bioengineered gangsters, information terrorists, cyborg outlaws.
And it's also using the terms. One thing I've watched this movie before. I don't actually hate this movie, like hate it. I thought it was kind of cool.
It's entertaining, but it's bad too.
It's a bad movie, but it's the term cyborg is used incorrectly. like
Yeah.
all throughout the movie. Because a cyborg, as I understand science fiction, unless I'm really wrong here, folks, is a human or a living organism enhanced with like mechanical subparts and robotics and stuff. But originally, it was like a human.
Yeah.
Now they get away with Cyborg and Terminator because it's just a metal substructure with a processor, but it's covered with actual flesh. So technically Cyborg. But in this movie, they're like cyborgs are the evil guys. They're like robots that are taking over, and it's like, well, wait a minute, no, the main character is a cyborg,
Yeah.
but he's still supposedly human. Well, until later
Well,
in the
I
movie.
mean, like the dilemma. I mean, essentially, the dilemma of the movie is that everyone is a cyborg, and they're going too far, and then basically androids are popping up to take over everybody. Or
But
not.
they're also called cyborgs, which is
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah. They probably use the term replicant here too. Who knows?
No, I didn't hear that because replicants are something completely different. That's just a grown organism that's just like the perfect human.
Yeah, but here
It's
you have like what do you call
like
that?
they're not machines, you know.
But here they're having people like they're just killing people and then having a double put in their place. I can't remember
Yeah,
what they called the double, but it was something kind of like
yeah, cellular level cloning. You can't.
that.
It's like, well, wait a minute, it's got a robotic skeleton. Like, yeah, you can tell human beings don't have robotic skeletons. You could tell with an X-ray. It's like, well, your bones are made out of titanium. Weird.
We get titles: Los Angeles, California, 2027 AD. So we're almost there.
Yeah, we might make it. I don't know.
I mean, nothing really about this movie seems futuristic, anyways, other than like, hey, people
Other than
got metal
everything's
stuff.
a dump, you know.
Yeah,
That's kind of like modern.
I think Albert Pune. I think he just like uses this same spot in every movie. It's like just some dilapidated like quarry in California, and it's just like, well, we can do anything we want here.
Yeah, it's
So they
we can have a cement fun slide here. Anything, everything.
Because there's some stuff in this movie. It's like, how the fuck did they do that on this budget? It's
Yeah,
like,
what's the
oh,
budget
they're
of this
just
movie?
absolutely irresponsible.
What's the budget of this movie? Like $2 million?
Yeah.
Nothing.
But yeah, well, yeah, some of the stuff is amazing. But some of the stuff is, you know, of course, cheap because it is an inexpensive movie. But I forget that I wrote down some dialogue that says it pays to be more than human. Oh yeah, so yeah, it's just basically the idea that like people are becoming more cyborg because it just like gets them more money and they can be more useful. But then they just start to lose their humanity. So that's pretty much every sci-fi. So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but here it's a surface level thing, and they don't really get into it other than, hey, cyborgs are cool.
Yeah. They can either be destroyed by one shot from a 9mm or blown apart with a cannon and come back. You don't know what's going to kill them.
Yeah.
They die easy or they die very difficult. You know, it's like, yeah, you can empty a whole magazine into them. They don't die. But you can shoot them with a 9mm and sparks shoot out. Or you can kick them really hard and sparks shoot out. It's like, yeah, this doesn't seem like it.
And they can die and live forever in a data, module or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget. I don't know. I forget. There's something phrase they use on. They talk about like the like global terminal or something like that, and it's never explained. And basically it's just. I think it's meant to be like, hey, the internet's going to take over everything, and everything's going to be interconnected, and that's what's going to like infect the world, and everyone's going to be like clone android or something. But it's never explained. It's just kind of a phrase they use.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like this is like Elon Musk wants something like this. Like, this is in his wheelhouse. Maybe he did watch this movie. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But it's like, yeah, oh yeah, he wants to. I mean, these guys all want to. Like, wouldn't it be amazing if we could put chips in your head and you just know everything? It's like, yeah, except for the fact we can't even make that work. We can't even make laptop computers. It's like, look how thin it is. Don't charge it too long, or it'll burn your house down. It's like, want to put some of that in your head? You know, it's no.
But I mean, there's
reality is always more complicated than fantasy.
Well, also like an interesting thing, like this is like full Verhoeven effect. It's like there's a lot of interesting things in this movie, but it doesn't do it well. But like this movie is about like transhumanism. It's like becoming more than human, by like upgrading yourself to the point where like everyone like uses either gender neutral names or they use like opposite gender names.
And they all for some reason speak in strange accents at different times.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, getting cyborg enhancement gives you a Swiss accent, or like if you're like the commissioner, you drop in and out of almost Arnold Schwarzenegger dialogue.
But there is a thing here where it's like, okay, what does it mean to be human? Even what does it mean to be male or female and stuff like that? And I don't think they're going for that, but you can pull that out of this movie.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna sit down and just like, this is what this really means, it's like, I can't shoot that down. I don't think this is, how do they say it with the Constitution? What the framers intended. I think they were just trying to like, okay, let's do some interstitial dialogue. Olivier, go. I am Alex. Okay, try to spice this up a little bit. Let's make it more interesting.
I am a cyborg ninja.
I'm the good guy. He doesn't. No, he wouldn't do the Z. That's a German thing. He's like, I don't know how. I can't do a French accent. Yeah, it's like.
So some guy and chick are making out, and the guy's Alex.
Yeah.
Which I didn't pick up at first because here he's like a bit more dorkily like dressed.
Well, he's dressed like Deckard from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Long jacket.
I think he has the jacket off, so he just looks like some nerd in a suit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably I didn't have the jacket because the jacket's cool.
And then she starts choking him, and like she's concerned he's like undercover police, so she like feels him up pretty heavily. And he's like, you got to be careful these days. And then he like pulls a gun off of her and then just shoots her in the head.
Yeah.
And then she's like, goddamn cop. And he's like, goddamn terrorist, and shoots her again in the head.
Yeah.
And titles, Nemesis. I don't know. Is Nemesis a cool name, or does it have any through line for this movie whatsoever?
I was thinking of that the whole time I was watching this movie. Who is the Nemesis? What is he the Nemesis of? Is something the Nemesis of him? I guess you could say he's the Nemesis of the android cyborgs that want to replace humanity.
Okay.
Maybe, but it's like, it's not like, of course they don't say the title, thank God. It's not that on the nose, but it's like, I don't know. It's this cool title.
Yeah.
It's a great looking poster.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's got those weird glasses, the jacket on, holding up a couple guns.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because, and I have no idea. Like, I don't know if it was made then or they made later on. Because there's totally stuff in the, like some of the, like you look at the trailer and you look at these posters and it's like, oh shit, did they make the Matrix before the Matrix? And it's like, no, but
however,
if you want to use your imagination and not watch the movie, of course they made the Matrix.
And then tell other people, you got to see this movie. It's the original Matrix. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, there's a chick that lives in a computer chip. It's the Matrix. There's bad robots. It's like a Matrix. He did it. Where's Pune's commission? He did it. They get any money off the Matrix? They stole the idea from him. It's like, wait, what? And they fight like martial arts.
Yeah.
No slow cams or anything, but no bullets.
That's too expensive.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money.
So they come back from credits. And he's still in the scene after he shot her. And he goes, "You break the law, you go to hell."
That's hardcore. Yeah, Judge Dredd there.
Which also with his character, there's supposed to be like this push and pull where he like realizes that like maybe the law he's upholding isn't actually helpful towards the global populace and stuff like that. And he's supposed to have this catharsis, but the guy can't pull it off.
No.
And it's not written well for him to do that either, but the idea is there.
His catharsis is he's not wearing sunglasses. That's how you know he's changed as a character. It's like, hey, you catch can. This is what we can do here, folks. This is it.
So Alex is trying to leave the hotel, but then then he starts getting pursued by like some gangsters and or terrorists or whatever.
Yeah, you don't know, just weird, dark-looking guys.
Yeah, because there's
some of them are people that look like heavies from like Bollywood movies. Like they have an
Yeah.
interesting eclectic group of bad
And like
guys.
and like three like like lingerie models, just like
Yeah,
holding. They look good holding guns. Put them in there.
it's a real interesting walking chase too through a hotel. I mean, that
Yeah,
was cool. That was actually the chase, the him going into the room, shooting the lady, and then walking out. Of course, he's got his coat and glasses on. Then walking by all these people who are there to also meet this lady, and then they go in the room, and he's like, he killed her. It's him, But they're still kind of walking through a hotel, and the camera's just like in front of him. And
yeah.
it was sort of cool. Then he gets in the elevator, the employees only elevator, which like, yeah, that'll stop him.
But yeah, he makes it out of the hotel, and they follow him, and then they've all made it to the basically the shootout quarry where all the action takes place.
Yeah, the old shootout quarry, the abandoned buildings of California.
But she gets a shotgun out to shoot a fence open, which doesn't make sense, but it's fun.
Yeah, the shotguns, they actually do have the modularity in this film that I always imagined they could in the future. Because it's like, oh yeah, just put any kind of shell you want in there. It's like an explosive tip shell. It's like, yeah, that would work. Because he gets the old Spaz 12. Like, I guess he hit it earlier. Or
Yeah,
maybe
it's hidden in his coat.
Quarry. I don't know, but
no, it's like he pulls it out at some point, and then he puts it like he hides it under his trench coat.
Okay.
Because like that, the employee sees it, and then that's when the employee's like, "All right, I guess we'll let you use the elevator, sir."
Yeah, that's your pass card.
But yeah, the Spaz 12 shotgun is definitely the shotgun of the late 80s and early 90s. I'm not sure if it got banned, but it was like, I think it was like you couldn't import it anymore, so basically it was banned effectively.
Yeah, it's backdoor banned in America. You can't have that. But you can have a shotgun like the one I bought recently. Like that's perfectly fine. A 15 shot fully automatic or semi-automatic, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because like the Spaz 12 is such an iconic design, but unfortunately, basically the demands of the shotgun doesn't require something to be that complicated. Where it's like it's full auto, or you can put it in pump, and it's like a couple shotguns do that, but they're always like outrageously expensive, and their reliability is something to be desired. And so even though they look cool, they are not effective shotguns anymore, but they look cool, and they're super expensive. So
yeah, I've never looked into one. I'll just stick with my Tavor.
Well, I remember, like, I think I was the Demolition Ranch did one thing where, like, he had a couple of guys on the show, and they all had, like, collector Spaz 12 shotguns, and they're all in disrepair, and they hate them, but, like, man, it's a cool looking gun.
Yeah, I paid $5,000 for something that, like, no gunsmith will touch.
Yeah.
It's like if I really wanted an effective version of this, I could go buy a Benelli any day at a gun store for like $1,200, and it would just fire all day long.
Yeah. Some lady breaks out a shotgun that also has like a rocket launcher on top of it or something,
or a metal pipe welded to it. I couldn't figure out.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, hey, this toilet paper tube we put on top of the gun, that's a rocket launcher. It's like, okay.
That is a Benelli Super 90.
Oh, okay.
That's what she had with stuff glued onto it. A lot of guns in here you'd recognize just with stuff glued onto them.
Yeah. Which is a staple of sci-fi movies,
Yeah, that's how you do it. You can't just, not everyone can be Blade Runner.
Yeah. I always love the pulse rifle in Aliens is like a Tommy gun with a bunch of stuff thrown on top of it. It's like, I would not get Tommy gun out of the pulse rifle.
No, that's where guys like what's the guy's name, Adam Savage, come in. They make the Tommy gun into the pulse rifle. All those prop guys.
So yeah, they're just having Alex is just running away, and they're just shooting back and forth. They end up like they have like a shootout on top of a roof of a collapsed building.
Yeah.
And it looks super cool. I've never seen this before.
No, it looks. I've seen
really this
dangerous.
I've seen this in video games. I've never seen this in a movie before, and it's just super cool. Just like okay, like, well, technically it has the high ground. They're all ducking behind cover and stuff, and like and just a million squibs in this movie, so it looks cool. A lot, compared to like a lot of like cheap budget action movies nowadays would just all be digital squibs and stuff like that, and you could tell, and it's less. Here it's like, somebody had to set up a little squibs, and they only had one shot to get this, and they did it.
And the actors were sometime flinching too, if you pay attention to like all this stuff going off around.
Yeah.
They were reacting like, whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. It's like, wow, how did they get that shot? And the only way is irresponsibly.
Yeah, they just got lucky. They rolled the dice.
And then Alex falls off the roof, and then he gets like shot at some more. Alex gets shot in the back, and he's like launched in the air.
Yeah.
And then here we see like he has some wounds, and we see like some exoskeleton underneath. Although it's more like grafted on, not like he has an exoskeleton, or I don't know how much of him is replaced. They say like 85% or something like that.
Well, it says he's 85% human, so I guess he got his legs blown off below the knee at some point. That's what I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
He does save up. There's a puppy in the building too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta show him saving a puppy. The lady uses the like rocket tube shotgun, and and then they do like they follow the rocket like with the camera, which looks pretty cool. That's been done several times, but I don't know. I probably remember that most being in like, was it Robin Hood? With the Kevin Costner one, I remember they had Arrow Cam with that.
Oh yeah,
which probably be around the same time as this. I'm not sure.
It's been done. The coolest one was the Runaway with Tom.
Right, yeah,
where the bullets actually turned corners and stuff, blew through pipes, and it was like, but they were tracking bullets. So.
And probably Sam Raimi did something like that too.
Sam Raimi did. Didn't he have like evil book cam? The book was chasing people or something. Yeah. I don't know. I vaguely remember that.
So Alex is presumably dead, but of course he isn't. Presumably dead is going to be a phrase used a lot here. And nobody ever is. Because that thing blows up like everything. He puts a dog in like a safe or something that protects the dog. We see his like robot leg twitching, so we see it's like, oh yeah, he's not completely human. Then the lady comes up to him and says, like, we're trying to save humankind. You're working for the machines. And he says, like, she says, like, 85% human. Then she shoots him a whole bunch. And then he, like, stabs her with a piece of his broken cyborg bone or whatever. And then some drone cops show up. And, like,
in a very Machine and Krieger looking. I was like, oh, wow, okay. They must have watched that, too.
And then we cut to like Alex is being like put back together, so now it's just very RoboCop, pretty explicitly. Then we get titles: Baja, New America, and we see Alex. He's running around. He's fully repaired. It says like there's a voiceover that says it took 6 months to put him back together. Now the dog he saved is grown up and running around with him, so he's recuperating. Then Alex is at a bar and he's like getting kind of winds like, oh, these people are a part of like the terrorist group, and so he kills everybody in the bar, which is 2 people, but still.
Yeah. They're both armed, but
yeah. But the voiceover he gives is like kind of like he's remorseful of the killing, but the scene doesn't suggest that whatsoever. He's like, I'm just upholding the law. And the voiceover is like, I don't know if the law should be upheld. It's like, well, you didn't seem to have a problem with it, so. But also, I think this is like presumably revenge for being like the last scene he was getting shot to shit, and then like, I can't. Yeah, I was like, is that lady he shoots at the end that was shooting him? Like, is that a named character, or is that just another character? That because that's not Jared. No, Jared shows up like in a little bit. So, anyways. So yeah, a couple ladies show up and they tell him like he's back on the job, which this is extremely confusing. He's like, he just killed a couple of terrorists presumably for his job, and here they're telling us that like, hey, the LAPD wants you back. Which again, the LAPD in this is hilarious because it's like the omni government. They're like the CIA. They're like local cops. They're everything.
Yeah, and they're also negotiating with whether the U.S. and Japan are going to merge into one country, and like there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. It's all tracked back to the LAPD. It's like, oh, quite the country now. Oh, the person he kills in Mexico. Well, New America. That's the Baja Peninsula is the tip off of California. That's Mexico's.
Yeah.
That was the lady who shot him up in the end of the last scene.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's Rosaria.
Um, and also this apparently they explained that Alex was a prisoner before, and they made him a cyborg cop as like, hey, you can get out of your sentence by being a cop, a cyborg cop, which that that just feels weird. It's like, why would you do that?
I mean, just filling time in the movie.
Because they never said like what he went to jail for. I don't think. Yeah, I can't. No. So yeah, Jared is apparently his handler, and then she's almost completely synthetic, and then Sam, the other cyborg lady, like Alex just walks off, and then the lady is like, the dog is growling at her, and the dog bites her, and so the lady just kills the dog for no reason.
Yeah, it's never mentioned again. It's like, hey, where's my dog? Oh, we don't know.
Well, they have a scene at sunset where he buries the dog at sunset.
Oh, okay, I might have missed that one.
But that's it. Yeah, because it's weird because he just walks away, his dog gets killed. He doesn't seem to like have any reaction to it, and so they just put a little shot in where it's like he's burying the dog. It's like, oh, okay, so apparently he does care, but not enough. Then we get titles again. New Rio de Janeiro 1 year later. And apparently Alex left the LAPD and now he's working on the black market. Doing what? I don't know. Doing black market things.
Yeah.
It's information broker or something.
Bringing a formula to infants. Yeah, who knows?
He meets some guy named Marion who's like working on some tech deal with him. But then Marion's head like splits open to reveal a cannon. And then he shoots Alex and then like takes him out. Not for good. There's a lot of Alex getting incapacitated pretty severely, and then they just build him again. Which is a real problem with this movie is that they have Alex basically get defeated a lot, and then they also want him to be this unbelievable superhero of this movie. It's like, no, he's a very stoppable hero.
Yeah, he seems to be like fooled by people very easily.
Yeah. So for these producers are like, yeah, we really want to like hype up this new action hero we got. The movie does not make that happen for him. He's not like The Rock or anything where it's like, we can't have any kind of awkward scenes where it seems like he's like has like humanity or he's fallible anyway. He just has to be cool the entire time, which is usually how these movies are, which is more interesting that the character is flawed, but yeah. They also have like this contradicting dialogue where like everyone's like, he's such a badass, and then it just doesn't happen enough times in the movie. Actually, like he gets beat up more than he gets to be a badass.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to think things through either. It's like, just stand around in this hotel, let's see who shows up. It's like, this is what could go wrong.
Well, who shows up was we have Brian James shows up.
Oh yeah.
Probably most famous is the guy in the opening of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And here he plays Moritz, and he's doing a German accent.
Okay, German, Swiss. I couldn't tell. It was a weird accent.
It obviously had to been his choice. Like, he's a big name for this movie, so he's like, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna tell you not to, so go ahead, dude.
Yeah, do what you want to.
I don't know. That's how I imagine this happened, because like I've never seen him do any kind of accent before, so this is hilarious. Actually, I think he's been like a Russian. He's always playing bad guys, so he's probably had accents before, but I don't think I've seen him do a German one. There's like a bunch of.
He did a lot of movies like this after Blade. Yeah. He was always doing like, I'm the bad guy, and some kind of. I'm trying to think of. Well, he was an Enemy Mine not long after, or before this. I mean,
yeah.
And then he did Steel Dawn, which was like a takeoff of. What was it? Like a Mad Max type movie.
Oh, okay.
And then he was in Cherry 2000. He was a bad guy in that. Yeah, he's been a lot. I mean, he's a guy you know.
Yeah. Is a very large man too, so it's
Yeah.
very easy to make him look like intimidating.
And he died in like the late 90s too.
Yeah. In the scene, there's also like a bunch of other business guys, but apparently they're LAPD. I think there's also where we meet Farnsworth, but I'm not sure if they like pointed him out. Because Farnsworth will be ultimately the enemy of the movie, but you don't have that plot point yet to know that. So,
No.
Alex also has long hair here, so I was wondering if there's like a lot of schedule issues with this movie, is why like they just jump from place to place and they constantly have different like haircuts and clothing. I bet there was just like
I
weird
was
schedule.
wondering that myself because when he was in the desert, like after his first, being rebuilt or whatever it was, it's like, oh yeah, this guy looks like an action hero.
Yeah.
And then when he comes back, he's got like really long hair, looks completely different.
Still like zero body fat, which is like you can see why people is like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be an action star because he's got muscles for days and no body fat, and like and does have like an interesting look to him, almost like a who's the famous bald guy that was in like Magnificent Seven and stuff like that, and in Westworld.
Yeah, he played the bad guy in the original Westworld. What was his name? It's not Telly Savalas. It's 'cause I've actually seen this guy on stage when I was a little kid for The King and I. What is his name? I can't think of it, but anyway, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
I'm typing in Westworld, and all I'm getting is Yul Brynner.
Yul Brynner, yeah, that's right.
So he kind of looks like Yul Brynner with hair, but like way more muscly.
Yeah.
He doesn't have steel blue eyes, but but he kind of has that, kind of like oddly big head shaped, and kind of like almost a captivating presence. But there's kind of a thing like it seems like in the action scenes, he kind of has like flair and panache. Sometimes he just looks awkward. Depends what's going on. And then you get to like a dialogue scene, and he just has absolutely no personality whatsoever.
Yeah.
Again, acting in your second or third language is a hard thing to put on people. So, yeah, here I wrote that. They rebuilt him, but they put a bomb in his heart this time. Just because we got to reference Escape from New York, because it's like, you like that movie, well here's that too.
Yeah, we're gonna throw this all in a pot.
It's the stew movie.
We can't lose.
I wrote the US and Japan have apparently merged, but you're saying that like they're working out a deal to merge. So
yeah, it was something like throwaway line like that. I don't
Okay. Here we learned that Jared, who was working for the LAPD in the previous scene, has apparently stolen some tech plans and run off with it, so they're going to send Alex to go kill her. Alex has 3 days to catch Jared or he dies. He's promised retirement, but obviously that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I have that being the end of Act 1. It's like, all right, he's got to go get Jared. And like, even though I think that's Act 1, but we've been to like 5 different locations.
Yeah.
And this is like the first plot point. It's like, you got to go get them. He's quit the forest. He's rejoined the forest. He's been forced to go on the forest. So we have Act 2, titles, Shanglu, Java. We see naked people in a hotel room watching Alex beat the crap out of a bunch of gangsters, but the gangsters are a plant, so they're just like LAPD. We have Julian is telling Billy how LAPD is sending sharks for her, and I wrote, oh shit, that Billy is Thomas Jane.
Yeah, that's an 18-year-old Thomas Jane.
Which that was why I'm not sure if this is true, but the trivia is that like, so the lady in the scene who plays Julian, like she was always written as being like nude in this scene, and then apparently Thomas Jane thought that was unfair, so then he made that he was nude too, also in the scene. So.
Oh, it's kind of a solidarity thing.
Yeah. Yeah, which is cool on his part.
Yeah,
this is definitely an era where it's just like, oh, are you a lady? We need you to get naked because this is a B movie and this is the only value you have to this movie. So,
Yeah, that's one thing. Like if I, I've never made movies and I never will, but if I did, I would never. It is so unfair to ask women to be naked in movies because they know what people are just like saying. It's just like putting themselves. It's bad enough being an actress, but it's like, oh yeah, guys are just being awful.
And that's and so for our podcast, one fun trivia I know about Paul Verhoeven is that, well, at least I know this for one movie. In the Starship Troopers, there was a scene where everybody was naked, and basically, not maybe on a dare or maybe solidarity, Paul Verhoeven shot the scene naked.
I could see that. Yeah, that's kind of his weird logic. This will all be the same, except these are like 19, 20-year-old actresses.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of old, like, fat guys running the cameras and stuff. We'll be naked also. And it's like, so what's the challenge here? Is this solidarity or is it spot the boner? What are we doing?
Also, he's European, so he probably just doesn't care. It's like, yeah,
that's true.
We have bathhouses. We're always nude. Who cares? Our TV commercials have nudity. We do not care about this.
That's one thing I will say as an American. I don't have hangups about people being naked either. It's like I've never cared about, because I'm naked in my house all the time. The only time I'm clothed is when we're doing this show. No, it's not that bad, but it's like, yeah, I've never understood why people are like so weird about being naked. But yeah, that's like a weird thing in this country.
I don't know. That's something where, like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because they can't equate nakedness without sex. And
yeah.
So, and then once you equate sex, then it's just all bad things are possible.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just like I've worked jobs where I had to shower, like, and it's like, yeah, everyone's going to see you naked at work because you have to shower. Otherwise, you're going to go home with like, metal dust all over your body. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. Now, if there was a bunch of women in there, I might be like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? But when they did that one surgery on me, it's like, oh, we're going to bring these two ladies more, it's a teaching university hospital I go to. They're going to come in and watch this. It's like, yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's because it's just like, there's nothing cool about this. It's surgery. They're supposed to be learning. I hope they learn to do it right. Might need them in the future.
So Alex ends up at a hotel. The hotel clerk pulls a gun on him, but it's just kind of like fun. It's like, yeah, everybody has a gun here.
And they're all a lot of those Desert Eagles in this.
Yeah.
Silver Eagles, Black Eagles, all Eagles everywhere.
Yeah, it's either everyone has a Desert Eagle or they have a Beretta with like a laser on the bottom.
Yeah, just like weird accessories, and because those Berettas do look cool when they have like some kind of muzzle device that's separate from the action.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that immediately makes them look sci-fi. They also had some Sig Sauers with like metal pieces underneath them.
Well, here they also say, like, apparently American money is questionable because he's trying to pay with American, and they're like, no, yen. It's like all we accept here. Then he goes to his room.
Oh yeah, that's right. This was made in the era where we thought Japan was going to take over the country. Now we've moved out of that era. Now it's China's going to take over the country, or the Russians, depending on who you believe.
Or some new continent that is born out of nothing.
New Pangea will defeat America because our children are all gay or something. It's always just watch Fox News. You'll see it.
So the hotel clerk rats out Alex to like some Japanese mafia or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
they end up being like the good guy terrorist group. So,
yeah, the Hammerheads or the Red Faction or whatever.
Yeah, Red Hammerheads, I think.
Red Hammerheads. Okay. Red Faction. I don't know where I got that.
I think if you throw red in there, there's supposed to be some kind of like ideal like
Marxist connotation.
Yeah.
Future commies. Future commies, more scary than the current ones. When you're watching this movie after 1999, you're like, yeah, there's no commies. But okay. I guess there's future commies again. I mean, I guess after capitalism completely like immiserates everyone in the world, maybe there will be future commies. I don't know. But there'll always be plucky Americans there to defeat them. We're going to fight for truth, honor, justice, and capitalism. That's our identity. That's our culture,
Yeah.
Guns and capitalists. Which, hey, I participate. I'm not throwing any stones here.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just mostly a reluctant capitalism.
Yeah.
It's like, this works, right? It's like, for a very small amount of people.
What about where we are in the pyramid? Don't watch another movie. Watch another Marvel movie. Don't
call it a pyramid.
Yeah, don't. No, it's not a pyramid. It's a square. All are equal. All the people up here seem to have all the money, but don't you worry. Your turn's coming. Just have faith.
See, it's a round table, but it's vertical, so all the wealth gathers at the bottom.
Yeah, that's America. It's a round table from the top, and it's like, look, we're all equal, like King Arthur. And then you, like, the camera angle changes, and you see the table's actually a pyramid, but you can't see it from the top. America, the economic optical illusion.
America, the cone of optimism.
Yeah, that's what we call it, the cone of hope. We're all going to be there someday, right? Well, I don't know. We have limited lifespan and a limited amount of time to do things, and your life's already half over, and you're not there yet. So what do you think, man? It's like, I'm still going to believe. I don't want no government giving me health care. That's for the commies. That'll turn you gay.
Alex is being spied on by the LAPD, of course.
Of course.
He decides
Very
he's going.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like, Alex is also, like, in the meantime, he's addicted to, like, painkillers or just pain suppressant. It's like, I don't want to feel anymore, so that's what this thing does. But it's like a drug to somebody who's mostly cyborg. I can't remember the name. It's like a fun name.
It's like Alka-Seltzer and blood is what it looks like.
Yeah, but I can't remember what they call him. It's like, you're a speed head, aren't you, or something. I can't remember what they call him.
Yeah, she did call him that, but what is the drug? Excuse me, what's the drug called? Let me look this up. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, he just decides out of pure will he's going to stop doing drugs. And then apparently the LAPD is kind of like miffed about that. It's like, our one control besides the bomb in his heart.
And the camera in his eye. It can apparently read his thoughts too. Or he was talking out loud. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of these things, like the bomb in his heart. It's like, it's there. It's counting down. We never talk about it again.
And also there's a volcano erupting nearby. So, that'll serve a purpose later on.
Yeah. That's got to happen.
But they kind of make it sound like it's a tourist trap. It's like the volcano's erupting, the tourists are here, but it just seems like a bunch of gangsters and the LAPD in this town. So.
Yeah, where are all the tourists? There's a bunch of guys in expensive eyewear with microphones attached to them.
Then we have Angie Liv, that's played Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa, shows up. He's in Alex's room, and he's like holding him up. Again, he says, like, hey, you're like 85% like cyborg. Well, I'll find the one human part. And then he just punches him in the dick.
Yeah.
That still hurts, right? That's the one human thing you have left. Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good logic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, they're the red hammerheads. Apparently they're trying to stop the spread of, and this isn't explained, it's just called the spread of information systems. Yep. Don't know what that is or what it does. That's the thing they're trying to stop.
The worst static name for anything ever. It's like, we're trying to stop the spread of, I don't know, AI. Now, because that term was around then. It's like, no, information systems must stop. It's like, oh, not AOL. What were information systems in 93?
Don't send that Excel spreadsheet this way. It'll infect the world. So yeah, they're either terrorists or revolutionaries, and flip of a coin, I guess.
Yeah, whatever you want to believe.
But then Alex scares him away, not by beating him up, by just telling him he has a bomb in the heart, and they're like, "Oh, I guess it's time to go."
Yeah, that's weird, dude. We're out there. It's almost like how they reacted. Yeah. It's like he said, "I have an extra penis." It's like, oh, you know what, guys, wrap it up. We're out. I don't know what's going on here, but this isn't our scene. We'll see you later. Very strange reaction from the team.
Also, Alex suspects that if he gets near Jared, he'll just blow up. Like that's what so it's not like a time device. It's like a proximity mine.
Yeah.
But they also like when they put it in him, there's like a little like kind of like off the side conversation, like he'll never figure out what it's for. And then like the scene later, he knows.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not dumb. But these guys wouldn't do anything that bad, would they? Like, well, based on what they've done so far.
So Julian and her thug Michelle break in on Alex while he's showering. I think I missed the part. I must have missed the part. There's a part. Oh, okay, yeah. It's part we have Billy, played by Thomas Jane. He says he's gonna kill Alex Rain, and then Julian gets pissed off by this, and then she has her thug like kill him.
Oh yeah.
But apparently he was working for the LAPD, so
Yeah.
But that's the end of Thomas Jane's character. But again, everybody here is either a terrorist or LAPD, so I guess that sort of makes sense.
Or both.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, they break in on Alex. He's getting beat up. Like I think that's where I wrote. He gets beat up 2 scenes in a row.
Yeah, he's just waiting in that the hotel room of misery. I'm gonna take a shower. What could happen? Well,
this is your hero. And then Alex kills Michelle. I can't remember. He like shoves something in his eye or something. I can't remember. Or he gets a gun
between the towels.
Yeah, that's right.
And he gets his gun and shoots the guy in the neck.
But Julian doesn't really care that he just killed her bodyguard. It's like now she's just going to explain like the details of the movie. It's like but before that she does some procedure on him where she pulls his eye out of its socket to take out the surveillance cam that the LAPD has on him. And then here she tells him that like Jared's body died, but her data lives on in a data chip, and she hands the data chip to Alex. And so he's got to bring it somewhere to do something. So then the LAPD start raiding the place. One dude just has like an anti-aircraft cannon or something.
Let's see what they got here. Yeah, these guys, one of them has an M60 on a Steadicam rig, which came right out of Alien.
That's a little bit later.
But okay.
This is like the black guy who's got like the flat top and like the wraparound glasses, and he's just got like
that's a Browning M2.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's a 50 caliber. That's a Ma Deuce. Which also the muzzle device changes between scenes, like between shots. Like,
so yeah, they're just like, and they're like just shooting. They're shooting doorways and then like popping in. And they're just shooting the shit out of Julie, and she's also shooting back. But this is just kind of this sort of explains like this is how cyborg everyone is that everybody can just get shot to shit, or you can get shot in the throat once and die. But yeah, anyways, these are the good cyborgs that take a lot of bullets to kill.
Yeah, if you're shooting someone with a 50 caliber Mod Deuce, I don't care if they have a titanium. That is literally going to blow them into pieces, like instantly. But in this movie, she's like just kind of dancing around, and and by the way, that gun's not nearly as loud as it would sound in real life, because the other guy has an M60, and it's like, yeah, that kind of sounds right, but that 50 cal it'd be like boom boom, but they have a slow rate of fire too, because they have to cycle this huge distance. I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
cool looking.
Looks
it's
cool.
like
Yeah,
just
looks
a guy's
cool,
shoulder in that, like, yeah, cool, very Terminator.
Julian gives Alex a blocker. They'll keep his heart from exploding, and it has like little lights, and like the less lights there are, the more they're like closer to hacking it and blowing him up. So it's another like just time, what do you call that? Like
time pressure, time element.
Yeah. A literal ticking time bomb. Yeah. The hotel shootout begins. There's squibs all over the place. There's people shooting holes in walls. Alex shoots holes in the floor. He shoots holes in the floor so he can fall through all the way down to the ground floor.
Yeah, like 5 stories of hole shooting in the floor. I
It's
think this
very.
was first done in Escape from New York.
Oh, was it? Okay. Okay.
I don't know if he went through the floor. I think he went through the wall.
Okay.
But it was the same kind of walls where you can tell it's like, oh, that's just like basically paper. Like nobody has walls that thin, or floors for that matter, because you just fall right through them. But it looks cool in the movie.
Yeah, it looks cool in the trailer too, and I remember they use this also in the movie Underworld.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So, although they just went in that movie, she went through one floor.
Yeah.
Here he goes through a whole building. And they even have like they attach like the camera through him, and he's like falling through these tubes, and it looks like, it looks like he's getting hurt on the way down. So it doesn't look pleasant, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean it does look cool.
Julian gets shot to pieces so much that she like the top half of her body is she just loses her legs, and the top half of her body's just like crawling around for a gun. Here we have Farnsworth comes up and stops her, and he like pokes her eyes out to get data. It's very creepy.
Yeah, it's a weird scene.
But then he's like, you erased your data. I was like, well, why is she still her? So I don't know what that means really.
I erased you. No, I'm still me. Haha.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't know what the hell. This is where there was like 4 guys on set. Come on, let's get it done, people.
Yeah,
we gotta wrap. We gotta. If we go past 5 o'clock, we gotta feed these assholes. Come on, let's get going.
Then Farnsworth shoots her dead, presumably.
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, she just absorbed like hundreds of shots from a giant anti-material machine gun. Yeah, shoot her in the head once with a 9mm. That'll take care of it.
Alex puts the memory chip in a view screen. He starts talking to Jared. This is where it's explained the plot point that Commissioner Farnsworth is actually a cyborg duplicate.
Yeah.
So that's probably why duplicate's a word. That's probably why I was confusing it with replicant.
Yeah.
They're very close words.
Yeah.
But then it mentions the name Sam intends to replace all humans with cyborgs, and I'm like, wait, who's Sam? Is Sam Farnsworth or Sam that crazy chick that killed the dog? And I don't know. Maybe it's both. I don't know. Then there's just like a lot of falling and jumping. Like they're like jumping off of roofs onto tiered roofs, and then just like everyone's shooting on the way down. It looks cool, but it makes no sense.
Everyone's like parkour,
Yeah.
parkour shootout. And you can tell like the people are actually doing it too. I mean, it looked cool, but it's like you wouldn't really move that way when you could just scoot around the edge of the building.
Well, also
the guy has the rocket launcher / shotgun thing he's using.
I can understand like jumping down to a next location, then and then like aiming and getting a shot. But these people are just literally just jumping off a roof, pulling triggers as they're falling, not aiming at anything.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't make sense, but does look cool. And I don't think anybody died in this movie, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't think the stunt coordinator here worked on Rust or anything, because somehow they did the most dangerous stuff possible and nobody died.
Well, no one suggested, hey, you know what this needs? A helicopter scene. Like Twilight Zone. It's like, we don't need that.
And then then we come to like an LAPD goon who's like harassing an old lady, and then she just shoots him to death. And then Alex is like, I love this town.
Yeah, again, the 9mm Sig Sauer.
Yeah.
It's like she just shoots that guy, and he's on the ground pleading like, please stop, and then she just shoots him and he dies. And it's like, well, the other lady got hit with like a 50 caliber like 100 times. I'm not gonna get over that. Wait a minute, 9mm just wipes this guy out.
Maybe it was a lackey, it wasn't upgraded yet.
That could be. Didn't have the
well, okay, here I guess this is a question we could ask, so we would give more credit to the movie than it deserves. Do you think everyone here working for LAPD is fully like a cyborg duplicate, or do you think they're just following Farnsworth not knowing that he's a cyborg duplicate?
No, they're all cyborg duplicates because they're carrying around 50 caliber guns, wielding them from the hips. Like, normal human beings can't do that. It's not That's not human, normal human
Yeah,
stuff.
but you think
Not
he's
with old
cyborg
weapons
enhanced?
like that, huh?
They can be cyborg enhanced to do that.
Well, yeah, I guess they could be cyborgs, but because they all get killed, it's like they got to be the baddies,
Okay.
the bad baddies, not just the kind of baddies.
um, and then Alex is getting stalked, and here we have the dude with he has like the M60 on the Steadicam rig, which is just straight
Yeah,
out of Aliens.
which he doesn't use, by the way, weirdly.
Well, the weird thing is, like, at one point he's like, "Let me pull out a handgun," and now I
Yeah,
have two guns.
I'm gonna dual wield a machine gun and like I think a 45 long slide or maybe a Desert Eagle. I don't know what he had. It's like, why? You have a huge machine gun on your hip. Just use that, and you've got like the robot vision where it's like beep beep beep
Yeah.
beep. You just need one gun. You don't need two. Have
um,
you ever tried to dual wield handguns?
no.
I respect people that can do that and make it look real because it's hard. Because literally, if you're right-handed, your left hand. I mean, I guess it depends on what I was doing it with 1911s. Your left hand will almost like cross in front of your right. It's like scary. I did it like 3 or 4 times. It's like, nope, I'm not this guy. It's like my left hand does not react to that the same way that my right hand does. So
It's
maybe,
like same. It's like same thing like when you try to throw a ball with your left hand and it looks he looks like such an idiot, but it's because you're standing and the way you're standing is you stand in the same way you would throw right-handed, but it's actually you need to reverse all your body mechanics to do it, and you'll still look bad, but you'll look way better if you just reverse your body mechanics. So yeah, if you're set up to like I'm gonna shoot right-handed and you're using that to shoot like dual wielding, like one of your hands is gonna feel weird, really weird.
oh yeah, that's like because my right hand with a 1911, it goes off, it's up and kind of over, up and to the right, because that's how it discharges. That's
Yeah.
part of the action. When you're doing that left-handed, it wants to come really far to the right. And it's like, oh, I got to correct that. I'm going to shoot my fucking hand. And then you try to correct it, and then it's like moving this way, and it's almost knocking into the. And it's like I'm just not built for this. I'm just not this action hero. I guess I should have known. Now some people say it's easier with like 9mm and Glocks and stuff.
Yeah, stuff with lower recoil.
Yeah. But yeah, I've tried some of this movie stuff, and it's like I don't know how these guys do this. Of course, they're also shooting like movie charges too.
Yeah, they're shooting blank, so I guess
I'm shooting like full powered rounds. Like I can do this. It's like no, you can't. Nobody can. It only looks cool in movies. It's like you ever held the gun sideways for shits and giggles. You cannot hit anything.
I think I
you
did
can
it
hit
once.
things this way.
Yeah.
But your up and downs, your up and downs way off. This way is really consistent.
But he's getting stalked by that dude with the Steadicam rig, and then Marion shows up, and then the Steadicam guy gets killed at some point, and then Marion and Alex end up in like a fist fight down like a giant slide that goes on for minutes
with cement in it, or what looks like cement.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. It's like the time for the cement fun slide, and I assume they just went down this thing 20 times and seamed it all together. Yeah. That or there was a really long cement slide somewhere.
So yeah, Marion's head starts opening up again to shoot him again, and then like Alex is able to like push him up, and like his head like collides with some structure, and he's just like hanging there, but his body's still trying to shoot Alex, and so Alex is still
cool
trying to shoot.
He's like, oh, he's dead. It's like no, his arm is still like firing a gun. Like, he's not dead.
But then let's see here. Then Alex just shoots the crap out of him. And then some girl saves Alex, and he gets to the bottom of the slide, and a guy holds a gun on him. And then some girl shows up and shoots that guy in the head. And so I wrote she's probably with a hammerhead, and she is. Her name's Max Impact. Yep. And then she knocks him out. And then Alex wakes up. Angie is interrogating him. Angie presumably is the leader of the hammerheads. And then Max is also angry at Alex because apparently the bartender who killed Baja was her sister, so now she has a vendetta against him, although she did save him, so it's a very weird thing. but it's also where their character interaction ends up is also super weird and undeserved. So, but anyways, and this lady playing Max Impact is basically like C grade Lori Petty.
Yeah, a weird squeaky voice, and
Yeah,
she's hot looking. She's very athletic, but again, not the best. Like, let's give her a lot of complicated dialogue. Say it again with feeling. It's like, no.
But then like a bomb or missile shows up and blows the place up, and then Max is able to get Alex out of there with her. But then Farnsworth shows up and he like pushes his fingers into Angie, but like into his like chest, but to get info apparently. But then he just shoots Angie dead, and because Angie's mostly human, like he's actually dead, presumably.
You can shoot him in the head and kill him.
Farnsworth gets the data disc, and then Alex just like comically swings in on a rope and takes. I forget what he says, like, but he's basically along the lines of like yoink when he takes it. And this is after like a supposed to be a sad moment where like the leader of the resistance and all hope for humankind has just been shot in the head.
Like, well, a fat guy throws himself on the bomb.
Yeah,
everyone else can kind
weirdly
of
like dick first.
Yeah.
It's like, let me show my
for the red faction, or the red whatever people.
Hammerheads.
My head for the hammerheads. Little head for hammerheads.
And then Max blows up Farnsworth and Moritz. She has like the tube launcher thing that fires a missile and or grenade launcher and or whatever magical thing you want them to blow up.
Yeah, whatever these guns shoot at whatever given time.
And Moritz is pretty much just completely blown up. But wait, Farnsworth isn't dead, and so he starts coming back to life. Alex and Max run away. Farnsworth is like shoots a silo down near them, and this is like an amazing. Yeah, it's just a silo. It's a real fucking structure. They blew it up in front of the actors as they were running for their lives. This is an amazing, irresponsible scene.
Now remember, run diagonally. Not straight, diagonally. What? Are you sure? Yeah, just go ahead. We'll fix it in post. See what happens.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in an action movie.
No. Not where like I believe the actors were really there.
Yeah.
I know in this the actors were really there. It's like, oh, they filmed them running and then they blended that scene. No, not in this one. Oh, we're going live.
And again, like, it's another thing in the trailer. It's like, oh, that's amazing, but you put all your amazing stuff in the trailer because you had to.
Yeah.
Again, like, probably Albert Putin's movies are better as trailers than they are as movies.
Yeah.
But this stuff is amazing for what they were able to accomplish with such a small budget.
Yeah.
And then somehow also the shotgun that Farnsworth is shooting is also just basically like an artillery piece.
Yeah.
He's like shooting it up in the air, and they're just like explosions are happening all over the place.
Like obvious, like those propane explosions they use on sets. The actors, it's like happening near them, but you can tell like it's shooting straight up from the ground. It's so it's essentially a chase through the woods that goes on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it goes on a long time.
Oh wait, let's talk about how Max knocks the main character out initially. Because
he
has the necklace. Yeah.
Oh, she's like, you want to scam me, and he scans her, and then it like reverses and like tases him or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, the she has a necklace with two eyes on it. It's like a lion's head, and like two light beams shoot out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was way before this, but it was silly. It was like that was before the scene where he was being interrogated before those guys died. But it was like one of those things. It's like, oh, that's like something that shoots lasers. Like that's not anywhere else in the movie or ever referenced again. But it's like, well, okay.
Wait, we have lasers? Why do we put in such a small thing? We need to invest in lasers.
Yeah, how can you power something that can knock out a cyborg with lasers in the size of a coin? This might be the answer to the world's problem. Um, but it's just a movie trick. So
Max gets incapacitated, so Alex just grabs her and they keep moving. Um, they go into a jungle where they keep getting shot at. Farnsworth has them cornered and explains his evil scheme that like we're gonna replace all of humanity. And then Alex just shoots Farnsworth, but he keeps going.
yeah,
Because Farnsworth is the duplicate, so he's the latest model or whatever, so he can just repair really quickly. And they chase him to the point where Alex backflips off a waterfall, fires off one of the missile rounds, and then just completely blows up Farnsworth.
yep.
But Farnsworth is still alive. Now he's just an exoskeleton, just straight out of Terminator.
Yep.
So I have that being the end of Act 2. I don't know where to put this stuff. So
Yeah, it's kind of hard. End of chase number 4.
We have Act 3 of Max and Alex run through a wind farm. It looks cool, but
I didn't know they had those back then. I guess they did. They're probably prototyping them.
I mean, it's in California, so they're they're all Mitsubishi wind farms. I remember there's another like bad kind of cool movie around the time that had Terminal Velocity. Had like a lot of.
That's one of the guy from The Sopranos was the bad guy, James Gandolfini.
Maybe.
And he was a Russian.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was weird because it looks like James Gandolfini was born to play a mob boss. But he looked like, but he was like a Russian KGB agent chasing Charlie Sheen and his girlfriend.
So they have a quick shot of Alex, and he only has like 2 lights left, before he's gonna blow up because they're hacking in or whatever. They make it to the mouth of the volcano. We see the hotel clerk from earlier, and he's got like a jet ready to take off with Max and Alex. Max
Another
gets
very Machine and Krieger looking jet.
Max gets in the cockpit, and then Alex just gets in the cargo hold.
By the way, really looks like a model I built and they just put in this movie. I mean, that's
hey,
weird.
Maybe they did. Who knows?
They could have,
because the compositing on this doesn't look great.
No. Like I said, it looks like, hey, did you take that from my room and put it in your movie in the future, in the past?
So I was like, so it could have been like a model that was like smaller in scale, and like why it doesn't like blend very well. Because usually, like when they build models in movies, they're huge, gigantic. They're like 20 feet models and stuff like that. So I could see like why this doesn't look good, either because the compositing was weird or because they just had like a very little model or something.
Can we do this for $5,000? Like what? Build the model? No, the whole scene. Well, there might be a way.
So Farnsworth exoskeleton runs and grabs the jet as it's taken off, and it punches his way into the cargo bay, and he has a fist fight with Alex. Alex gets like the top of his head like ripped off to reveal it's like, see, he's got like an exoskeleton too for a cyborg.
Well, he doesn't realize how much of a robot he is now, because they said, after he was disabled the second time, they basically totally replaced him.
Yeah.
And somehow he didn't realize this, and it's like, well, you live in this body.
And then like it ends up
being.
You
just find out you're a Cylon.
Do I keep it a secret? They're gonna kill me if they know.
I'll shoot you out an airlock.
And then like Alex kind of reverses things, and so he's like hanging on to Farnsworth. He's like hanging out the back of the cargo bay, and then like Alex just kind of like lets his arm fall off and then drops Farnsworth into the volcano again, presumably killing him.
I think he's dead this time.
Actually, I don't think he is.
Oh no, really? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. There's
some voiceover at the very end that could be him.
Well, I mean, I think this Farnsworth is dead.
Okay, yeah, that's true. There could be more.
Because the Terminator in Terminator 2 died when they dropped him in the metal, because he had to break the cycle of the past finding out about the future, which then they made 7 other rotten movies. And it's like, oh, okay, well, sacrifice was meaningless. You didn't have to burn alive for nothing. But continue.
We got titles: Marshall Islands, North Pacific. We have Jackie Earl Hale as some tech guy. He's worked with Albert Pune quite a bit, and here he was just trying to do something different because he didn't want to be known as the kid from the Bad News Bears anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's broaden your horizons.
Which he came back into prominence where he played Rorschach in the
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the what's it called? The
The
Watchmen,
Watchmen.
movie. And then he got to play the new Freddy Krueger. So he kind of had a career resurgence then. He's still around doing stuff, but yeah, he's not a kid. He's like a weird bald. He looks like an evil bald Russian guy now.
Yeah,
but he's a good actor. So,
he did a
so
great Rorschach.
yeah.
I'm not in here with you. You're in here.
Yeah, which is a great moment in that movie, and I'm sure Alan Moore hated it.
Sure he did. My favorite Zack Snyder movie. Watchmen. I've never seen one use a fryer as a weapon. It was totally cool, absolutely believable, and utterly horrifying at the same time. It's like, yeah, that would work. Only Rorschach would think of that, though.
They're talking here. Jared is about to be downloaded. No idea what that means, but apparently it's going to kill her and save the world.
Yeah, it's always that. It's always that. It can never be like, I just give you the information because I'm like in a computer. I'm like an entity. Can I just choose? Nope, got to erase you. Oh.
And apparently
on the cross.
Jared tells Alex that apparently the real Farnsworth left a letter for Alex before he was like, taken over by the cyborg duplicates. And then Jared tries to have a tearful goodbye, but Alex is just angry, and he's also has like bandages on his head. They just take him away, and then Alex is dead, and then downloaded. So weird. Then we got titles: LAPD headquarters 6 months later. We're on a rooftop. Alex is hunting down some cyborg duplicates. We saw this guy before. He made some like racist comments earlier before. His name's Jermaine. He tries pleading for his life, and then Alex just shoots him in the dick.
Yeah.
Presumably killing him. And then Alex reads a letter from Farnsworth. We have a voiceover from the actor who plays Farnsworth. And then he talks about the cyborg conspiracy. And then we have Max waiting on Alex, and like they're walking away, and like, we got to go take down all these other cyborg duplicates. And then we have a voiceover from Sam, one of the evil duplicates, and she says like, should we take him out now? And then we have a Farnsworth voice, I believe, says, why not? And then cut to credits.
Yeah, it was an upbeat ending.
That's the end of the movie. So yeah, again, it's interesting, some really cool action scenes, and ultimately not a great movie.
No, it's very, to me, it was very endemic of a lot of movies like this in the 90s.
Yeah.
A lot of like, it's dark, it's like we're on the edge of new technology. It's the dark dystopian cyberpunk Blade Runner future. A lot of movies came out that were like this. And a lot of different people did them. Like, that was a cool Rutger Hauer movie where like London was flooding all the time, and it was kind of set in the future.
Was that Omega Doom?
No, it was,
okay.
Let me look that one up. But
because I was going to say, if it was Omega Doom, that's also directed by Albert Pune. Omega Doom's also a Rutger Hauer movie.
Yeah, I think, I can't believe he died.
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, I always liked him. He's just a cool actor. What was that movie called? Split Second.
Oh, okay.
That one cost, it was like a $10 million movie, I think, but it was.
Oh, is that there was like a monster like eating people?
Yeah.
There was like a flooding London. Okay. I recently watched that movie because they made it. You don't have to put it together. It's a movie you can buy on Riff Tracks, and it's just all together as one package.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's kind of in
That
this
movie's
genre.
actually that movie didn't necessarily deserve to be like ridiculed, but it's like fine for what it was.
Yeah, and that came out like the same year as this movie.
Yeah, yeah. Or like,
So
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think this movie's better than like the Highlander 2 sequel?
no, Highlander 2 was, for all its stupidity, was still like you could actually like follow it along, and it kind of like, oh, this sort of makes sense in a way. In a way, it doesn't. But Highlander was always about myth and legend and reality, and that was always kind of like in its DNA. Uh, so no, I think this one was definitely that one was definitely better than this one. This just is a movie that puts me back in a time and place where there were
Yeah.
a lot of movies like this around. Some better than others, some worse. But you watch them all. You're hoping like, yeah, is this going to be cool? It's I don't know.
But yeah, this is like the thing I like about Albert Pune, at least some of his movies, that there are things in his movies that are absolutely excellent execution of some things. It's like
Yeah,
that is absolutely a cool way to do things, and you just wish he could have been consistent, or maybe had a budget, or not be constrained with like bad actors and stuff like that. But this guy probably could have made a really good movie had he been given the chance. But he made fun, forgettable B movies most of his career, which I think is amazing. So
yeah, yeah. I don't. I looked through all his movies. I liked a lot of his movies. When I was a kid, they were cool to watch.
yeah.
It was Sword and the Sorcerer was kind of ridiculous. The three-bladed sword that shot swords, but it was like sort of cool at the same time. It's like you
Yeah.
don't get. I don't know how you penetrate or parry with a sword that large, but it can shoot with the sword, so it's cool. Um, but yeah, he was definitely a director of a time and place because he kind of did the sword and sorcery movies, and then he got into the dark sci-fi, and
I
there
did.
were three sequels made to this movie. I've never
Oh
seen
yeah.
any of them.
I've
So
seen the trailers for some of them. I know that. So like they replace or what's his name?
we'll
Gruner.
just call him
Oliver
Oliver.
Gruner. Yeah, Oliver. They praise Oliver because it's like the main character in the sequels is also named Alex, but it's not the same Alex. Which you can see some like transhumanism stuff in there, because in the sequels they got this Minnesota female bodybuilder to play Alex.
Okay, cool.
And it's like 73 years in the future, and effectively Alex from this movie failed, and all of humanity got duplicated, and now this new Alex is like the last remnants of humanity, and it's like an apocalypse basically, where it's like like you watch the trailer, it's like that looks kind of fun, but there's absolutely no way this is good, but that looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then there's like the further sequels they get, it's like it seems pretty terrible. There's like stuff where it's like apparently the third movie is just like cut footage from the second movie, just kind of recontextualized as a movie unto itself with cut footage.
Okay. Wow, we're really saving money. Yeah.
Which I don't know, I remember. I like the Phantasm series. Like the first movie is kind of like this fun independent horror movie. The second one is fantastic. The third one's just kind of like a fun action movie, and then everyone after that is just like a weird, like we found footage and we're putting the tall man together, and they're absolutely terrible movies. They just found the cheapest way to make barely a movie and put it together.
Yeah.
So that kind of seems like where the Nemesis series goes. It kind of becomes that, rather than like them actually attempting to make a legitimate movie. And I think only the fifth one just looks like they just made a movie with like prosumer cameras, and it doesn't look good. It's like it's something like you and me can make.
Oh, okay.
But they got the Nemesis name attached to it somehow.
Yeah, here's kind of a bad movie from the 90s. It's sort of a nostalgia trip. It's like you want to see this again on, yeah, video cameras you can buy at Best Buy. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, actually,
No. Yeah,
a lot
because
of plug-in effects on your computer. It's great.
yeah, exactly. Like they're making the cheapest movies they possibly can. Where here they made a cheap movie, but it's executed. Some of it is executed quite well, and it is competent. So it's hard to call it. It is like a bad movie in terms of like story and acting, but on some of the production side, it is up there.
Yeah. It definitely propels you in a certain direction. It's like, because I've watched like some people get. I see. I don't do like horror schlock B movies.
Yeah.
I won't watch the cut 'em ups and because it just doesn't interest me. Now stuff like this with a science fiction angle, yeah, I will watch these. I mean, I know I'm not gonna like, oh, this is gonna transcend everything I ever thought, but it's like, oh, this was fun.
And there's
And
like there's ideas you could extract out of here. It's like, oh, like they were onto something, but here they just throw so much into a blender, it's kind of becomes meaningless by the end of the movie. And so it's like, oh, you didn't really have a direction, did you? But you just knew that these sci-fi tropes are fun.
well, there's the thing is like what I learned and what I've learned about writing stories and doing things. You can have great ideas, but if you don't build a structure under them, you can never follow through with those ideas.
Yeah.
It's just a thought, and this is what happens when you make a movie that is built just around a thought. It's just like, yeah, a lot of cool ideas. There is no substructure under it that gives it body, that gives it, anything like it. And that's ultimately the problem. But that's ultimately the reality of making a movie for $2 million too. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna have long scenes of exposition in this and lots of dialogue because that's people are gonna tune out pretty quick. You're not revolutionizing anything here with like the kind of story you're telling. So
But R.I.P. to Albert Pune. He made some fun movies. A lot of his movies are available on most streaming services. So
everywhere.
If you want to watch them, they're very available.
Yeah, get out there and watch them. There's not any Criterion paywall on these movies, which is kind of good. It's not pretentious.
Yeah.
No one's ever like, really, I was like, well, no one's going to debate Albert Pune like Kubrick or something. But you know what? I had a lot of fun watching Albert Pune movies. I enjoyed Kubrick also. Sometimes fun wasn't the optimal word. And every picture I see of this guy, he's smiling on set. He's having a good time. I think he was from Hawaii. I think he was a Hawaiian.
Yeah, well, he also I think he moved to Minnesota and then eventually made his way to Las Vegas.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I truly envy this guy's career. Like, had I become a director and I made movies on his level, I would absolutely be ecstatic with my life.
Oh yeah, it would be amazing.
Well, anyways, if you like what I heard, and how couldn't you can find us at anchor.fm/Verhoeven Effect or go to verhoeveneffect.com. We'll take you to the same places. You can rate our podcast on your platform of your choice. You can rate us whatever you want. The only thing it listens to is the highest, whatever the highest rating is. Remember, you control the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't control you. If Nemesis taught us anything, that's it.
Don't let Sam control you. But Sam means semi-autonomous machine. I don't know that. I'm just making that up, but it kind of follows the pattern.
Yeah. We have listener support at anchor.fm/Verhoeven Effect, where you can support this podcast on a monthly stipend, either 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99. You can find us at Twitter at Verhoeven Effect, Facebook at Verhoeven Effect, and you can find us on YouTube at American Greed Factory and watch both that show and this show live and unedited. And we also have t-shirts at belowthecollar.com/Greed Factory. So for the Verhoeven Effect podcast, I'm Conlon.
I'm Nathan.
Goodbye.